don't see anybody just yet, but I'm happy to know that you will be here. I tried. So, right before I started this, I'm like, how many black shirts do I own? I own a lot of black shirts, and it's almost embarrassing. But I have said several times recently that I would like to change all of my clothing to black because it absorbs energy. For those of you who do not know, um, I'm not as stressed as I was yesterday, but I'm still a little bit stressed about losing my Durango, kind of being stuck here, in which I'm really not. I can go for a walk only in specific areas because not all areas are nice neighborhoods. And it makes me kind of leery to walk in specific areas. But I don't know. It's been pretty, I don't even know how to describe the mood. Lull, Lull, is that the right word? Is that how you spell it? I've been down. Yesterday, I said that I was feeling depressed. I don't think that is what I'm feeling today. I meant to get out yesterday and read a book, but I didn't do it. And why I didn't do it, I don't know. Also, yesterday all day, I've been trying to see if I could see that entity again, the one I can't even speak, the one that bumped on my bed. Um, all day that day, he was trying to get my attention until he finally did, and I seen him. But all day yesterday, I tried and tried and tried to find him. I have seen no entities whatsoever yesterday. I'm pretty excited that I seen him when I did, sitting up in bed in mid afternoon, because I was seriously thinking, am I am I going crazy? Because I don't see any of these entities during the day. Is it because I'm taking my sleeping medicine? Is it because at a certain level of sleep you are able to slip into a different dimension? Me being a star seed, I thought maybe that was my ability, but it made me feel so much better that I seen him during the day under no medication. It was a confirmation, and I think he knew that because I think him being aware that I was feeling this way is why he appeared the way he did. I cannot speak for him, but that's the way I feel because that was weighing really heavy on me, thinking I was losing my mind. And why I say that is because of my mom. And for some of you who already know, she's a little off the rocker. And it's funny, and I mentioned this before, she used to talk about fairies to my children. And I remember telling my children, "Oh my God, she's losing her mind. She's lost it. There's no such thing as fairies." Well, there is, but she was not a good mother on many levels, and I don't think that will ever change. I hadn't spoke to her since 2020. Well, I spoke to her very briefly on the phone, very briefly, and that's it. Once. Um, we never really had a close relationship. I think as a child, all I wanted to be was loved tremendously. I just wanted to be loved because I never experienced that. So I grew up not knowing what it was like having a parent love you. And then when I started dating, it was a mad search even then. I wanted to be loved. And when you're 15, 16, under 18, you think it's love, but it's not. I mean, if you're lucky, you find that love and keep it forever, but it's so minimal now. Here we go again. Um, but I've never found love. Even in my husband's, I thought there was love and there wasn't. Now that I look back, there was no love. I think it was more of a companionship with all of them because it's odd. I will tell you how many times I've been married. It's kind of embarrassing, but I have a reason for that. I've been married and divorced 4 times. The first time I was alone, and my second born was a preemie, and she had to go to and from the hospital quite a bit, and I could not do it alone anymore. I was stressed and I needed somebody. And I briefly met this man, boy, I should say, maybe. I was 20, crud, I don't know. He could have been a very young man, but turned out he wasn't very supportive. He was a little aggressive, and he disappeared one day in my car and drove, I can't remember the distance, pretty far away, without saying anything, to go see his girlfriend that was pregnant with his child. And I don't remember how or why he came back, but I had to trick him into getting my car back. And then I divorced him very shortly after that. We weren't even married a month. We didn't even know each other 2 months. But something told me, we were at the judge's office, and something told me briefly before we went back. I think my mom approached me and said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I remember all I did was kind of stand there and think, do I? And then I was thinking I would be really embarrassed if I turned around and said I changed my mind. And I went ahead and went through with it. And then my second was uh, my kid's father. Sorry, and he's been there through all my divorces, including the first. It's really funny if you really think about it. And we were together, married 10 years, and he wasn't a bad person at all. And I will not down him in any way here. It's just that on my part, I feel like I was a roommate. And there was 3 years of saying, if you can't fix things, I'm going to leave. And that happened. But he's a good guy. I will not deny that. And we remained friends since the divorce in 2005, I think it was. Then my last husband, or not last, sorry, my third, he cheated on me. He was jealous of my kids. He was verbally and mentally abusive. And I don't know why I was so in love with him. I don't have a clue. And I beat myself up for it. But we didn't even stay together a whole month at a time. I had to keep kicking him out of the house because of the way he was. And then finally, he did finally move away out of the city. And that helped me quite a bit. And then he met his next wife, and I think she died of cancer. And then he contacted me a month after she died, wanting to get together. I'm like, what? I had to block him. But he was not a good guy at all. He was a very sweet talker. But that's it. And then my last husband, I really don't want to down him that much. I just think that his priorities were out of order and they went out of control. I'll just say that. But all these men were not relationship worthy to me, especially because it was my life. Um, Being through what I went through as a kid, being abused and mistreated and neglected, I knew what to look for in these relationships, I assume. And I always gave chances after chances. And so when I realized I have left and divorced and broke up with every one of my husbands. And I'm kind of proud of myself because I was always afraid. My mom stayed in an abusive relationship 6 years with two stepdads. And then one boyfriend, he was abusive. And then I don't know who was before that. But she would stay with these men while they abused her and me for 6 years. I wasn't going to do that. I swore to myself growing up I would never do that. She would wait on these men hand and foot, and I'm not joking, she would. They'd come home from work, dinner was made already. It was done. And she would serve their plates on TV trays while they sat in their recliner watching TV. She would even make buttermilk and cornmeal, cornmeal, the the crap, the yellow breaded biscuit thing. Cornmeal? Cornbread. That's it, cornbread. But she'd make that from scratch. I think she'd make it from scratch. I cannot remember. But she made a lot of things from scratch. But she would make that buttermilk, break all that bread up in the buttermilk for him and bring it to him. And then when he was done with dinner and his buttermilk, she'd bring them a beer. And she did that with both husbands. And both husbands were not good people on many different levels. But anyway, she weighed on them, and I swore the last one she was with and left, I was 17. So between 5 and 17 in both of these relationships, I swore I would never treat my husband like that, as a slave. That's how she was. I remember one time I wanted to go see a movie with her, and she told me, I can't because I have to cook dinner before they get home. And I'm like, what? You don't want to spend time with your daughter? I don't understand. I didn't say anything, but it really made me angry and it hurt my feelings pretty bad. Um, so when I got my relationships, I knew what to look for, and I knew not to stay in one relationship that was not good, especially if the men didn't try. There's one more thing. I don't know why it bothers me so bad, but then I feel like it's end game. If I see this happen with one of my boyfriends, it's the end. That's it. And it's kind of silly, I admit. But her first husband, the one that did all kinds of things to me, he would lay on the couch. And there was only one chair, if I remember, and I always had to sit in the floor because he would lay on the couch. And he would either go to sleep or just lay there and watch TV. And I swore that I would never have a boyfriend or a husband that would do that, where they would block off all the seating area where everybody else had to sit in the floor. I don't care if they're children or not, they're human. And then the other one had a recliner, and he would recline back and either go to sleep or just lay there. But there was a couch. So, and I got where I just didn't want to be in the same room with them pretty often. And I really don't know much about that. I don't know. But both of those relationships of my mom was horrible. There's so much to tell, but I don't know. I know I spoke about it several times, but not that it bled over into my relationships. Not at length as in that. I can't speak proper English. So, what has made me happy in this life, I feel, is my awakening and after. But I really can't start it at there because I've seen things and felt things since I was 11. Did they make me happy? I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea. But since my awakening, I knew what was going on. And that's when my happiness started. Although I had been going through some hardships mentally, pretty drastically, I should say. And those things that I seen, heard, and felt currently had made me the happiest. But then, certain things overrode that and brought me down severely bad. And I'm talking severely bad if you catch my drift. And I took everything I had to hang on. Um, what made me happiest was with the being that acknowledged or had me acknowledge, oh my God, I'm not crazy. They are real. They are here now. That's the happiest I've been with a confirmation. It's I cannot explain how good that makes me feel. He had to been at least, I don't know how tall these ceilings are, but he had to be at least 7 foot. And I'm not, if I tell you what I think he looked like, you're going to laugh. If there were two, something tells me there were two, but I want to say they look like cone heads, but I don't know because, as I've mentioned to you before, they look like on the Invisible Man. Even on, what was it? I I cannot remember. It was one of the superheroes or whatever would go invisible. But when they would walk around something, let's say they're at a store with a clothing rack behind them, as they're walking, the clothes are showing through that invisibleness. And you can see that the clothes was distorted in shape. And then the clothes in front and back of him was normal. So you can tell when he was walking in front of those clothes, and you can kind of see the shape, his head, his shoulder, and so forth. And so the most that I've seen these entities were of that. But the one recently, he looked like a cone head. And I can only say that because it looked like the top was kind of like that with two balls on the top. And then so I was like, and they were close because I thought, are those eyes? They're really close. And I got the intuition feeling it was a male, both of them, I think. Now I'm questioning it. I know one was a male, but I'm like, surely that's not their head. Maybe it's a hat. I'm not sure. But when I finally laid eyes on him, and it was so odd just for me to remain calm and cool because I feared I'd be nervous, and scared. Actually, I kind of knew here lately I would never be scared or, well, maybe nervous, like a date. You meeting a date for the first time. But anyway, the way I looked at him, and I'm like, oh my God, in my head, oh my God, I actually see you during the day. And I pointed at both of them and said, I see you. That was just so amazing the way I handled it. And I look back at it and I'm like, oh my God, I had no fear. That's so amazing. I'm so proud of myself. And then when they started bumping on the bed, in the past, it pissed me off. But this time, it was a second confirmation of, hey, I'm the one that's been bumping on your bed. And I was questioning it. Is this really happening? Oh my God. And I felt it sitting on the bed, but then me questioning it, I had to touch the bed. And then I'm like, is this really happening? Oh my God. And still, I was looking at how my pillow comforter has lines on it and how I could tell it was jiggling with every kick. And I was just floored. It didn't last long. I think he did it maybe 3 minutes, something like that. What stumped me after all of that is I stopped looking and feeling and knowing, and I think I got on the phone. I did something that distracted me, and I've regretted it since. So yesterday I tried to ignore all those things and watch for him or another being, and I haven't seen one yet. I'm pretty sure hopefully it will continue. My fear is it will happen just like the orbs. They've ceased. I would see orbs every single day in the past, and now I see them very, very rarely. Very rarely. And it makes me sad. It makes me so sad. I get excited when I do a video and I see one. I seen one yesterday with my eyes, maybe two, but it's still, they're very far and few between. And I hope that me seeing these entities will not decrease like that. I would be willing to not lift my phone unless I'm accepting or having to do a phone call. And I'd be willing to cut that TV off if it meant for me to start seeing the orbs every day and seeing these entities every day. I feel like they're showing me this now for a reason. But that reason is, I don't know. I have been told that I have a huge mission, and I feel like it could be huge, pretty big, because of my NDE, sorry. Um, I was told that if I would have succeeded, the whole timeline would change, in which this happened. And for the same reasons why it almost happened with me. But what that is, I don't know. I do feel it's huge. A part of me feels that it may involve one of my children. I won't say who. Um, But I'm like, I'm almost 56. How much longer can I go? Because my life is so uncomfortable as it is. I don't know how much longer I'll be here. Not too long ago, I had a flash that 66 will be the time I cross over. And that is 9.5 years from now. To do math, it's really hard. I tried to do it in my head and it's difficult. I would be surprised if I got it right. Um, but I don't know. I have a strict direction of making sure that my Kia is paid for before I cross over. And that is because my daughter would need a good car. And she'll never be able to get a car ever because she's on disability. Um, it's funny that I talk like that. I can't until after that. It's kind of, I cannot explain everything. Not here. I would get banned. But I don't know. I would like to tell you everything about that, but I can't. Maybe I need to start I don't know what you call it on YouTube, and it's my memory. I know it's where you do videos that YouTube cannot ban you on, and you can put it in your YouTube somewhere where they can click a link and go watch that video. I cannot remember, but they have to pay to be able to see these videos, and that's another way YouTubers get income. And I thought about starting it, but it was such a pain to do one of those videos and stick it in my YouTube. You had to do it just right, and there were so many steps. And I'm hoping it improved because I like to start it again. It starts with P. Maybe I'm gonna beat myself up all day about that now. But anyway, yeah, that's my day. So I am going to end this here, and I love you guys. I'm so happy to see you. Every time I check to see how many people has viewed my videos, even though it's a handful, maybe two handfuls per video, I don't care. I still am so happy that you come to my views, come to my videos and view them. Oh my gosh. Um, yeah. So I'm going to send each and every one of you love, light, and peace. Bye.